Now that we have all our outputs sequencing through and we've checked our I/O on our micrologics and compact logics, so with the exception of the analog, and we'll get to that later, but we're still working on what can we do with an MCR function. Well, I'm going to go offline. Okay, so I'm going to go here, add a rung below the power on. And I am going to say that if power on is on, let's go to find where my program control is. MCR. So now I've got MCR. Come down here. Add a line MCR. So now, if I lose my internal stop, this should turn off. The power on goes off. We'll see if this turns off all my outputs. So we can verify, make sure I didn't make any mistakes. It seems to like everything. Let's go try it. Okay, we're going to go back into run mode. All right, so we should see, so power's on. We're all good. Now, let's go right click, toggle bit. So it should have stopped it. It should have stopped all those returns. And if we toggle it again, it should allow them to pick up. So, toggle. So an interesting thing is since I'm only stopping the subroutines, it does not turn off all the outputs, but that's how you can use an MCR function. We could put the MCR function to turn off all the outputs. I've just got it in here to show you how this thing can work, that when anything between the MCR and here, and let's do this. Let's go back offline. Let's make one change so we can verify this. Let's grab this rung and put it down at the end. All right, we'll see how this, make sure this works. So in this case, it should stop our sequencers or subroutines, which contains all our sequencers. All right. Okay, so here I can go look at controller tags. I go to monitor. And I can see data moving. So I got ones, and I can go look at my programs. I can see my PLC. It is working. Flasher is flashing. I go back in. I toggle this off. And now I see on my compact logics, all the outputs are frozen. They stayed right where they were at, because right now, everything between this MCR and this MCR is not functioning. So we can change a couple things to make sure, but we can see that this bit is on, should be subroutine, should be running. So we can go into subroutine 1, but guess what? The bit shift is not working. It got froze at that section. So that's an example of how, in this case, just the MCR just shut down our subroutines. So you can have an MCR we could have it where it shuts out all the outputs if we wanted. It could just shut down certain programs. So we can play with this. We can go back offline, and maybe let's just move this so it only shuts off our external. So you can move it around. I encourage you to play with it to understand how the MCR function works. So in this case, when we trigger that, well, we're going to shut down everything else. Because guess what? When I trigger that, it's going to turn that off. So let's do this. New tank. Always on. Always on. Always on. And then we'll have to toggle those always ons. All right, so go in, right click on that toggle bit, it'll turn it on. Our sequencers and everything should still be running. Everything should be running. You should see it all count through. If you look on your compact Logix, I can see them all go through. So now, expand this out. So now if I go toggle this bit, shut it off, this one and this one will be running. The flasher is running, but my expanded outputs have stopped. I'm no longer running my counter. So in this case, in the main routine, I move my MCR only to the expansion outputs. So it stopped them in their tracks. So that's a way to use the MCR function.